and you have been with us from day one, and there is nothing like exclusion. You are free to enter any meeting and engage, and you know that we've been talking about the youth challenge, especially in regards to creating jobs, but also jobs which are addressing climate change, but also making climate change, climate agriculture. In my language, I don't know whether it will want some people here, sexy. Sexy means everyone must engage and do what they want to do in an enabling environment. So you're most welcome. I'd like to give each of you 1 minute or 2, because otherwise this is times 14. Those are going to be, if you can try to be very summative in your presentations. Thank you so much. I will be moderating this session. I'll be very concise, but also strict. And I didn't introduce my name. I'm sure by now everyone else knows me in this room. I like talking. That's the only job I've been paid to be doing from the time I was born. My name is Amongi Jacqueline, and I come from Uganda. I'm a member of parliament. I have served in Uganda's parliament for 15 years. I joined the parliament when I was 23 because I believe that we can cause changes in parliament. That's why I joined parliament at 23, and I made sure I went as a youth, not saying that no, our time is coming, our time is today. And I have also served Uganda, the continental parliament, so I've served the continent for the last 10 years. But apparently I'm in the East African Legislative Assembly. So 15 years of experience of work in the legislation as a young person. So do not complain. That's my, as I moderate this session, I'm also inspiring you not to complain, but to take action in whichever area you are. Because action starts local and they keep on growing. You act local and impact globally. So that's me and that's my story. I've been keenly following on thematic areas of climate change and water in all my parliamentary engagements. Because parliament is so diverse in that you can be swinging any direction. There are so many competing priorities, but for me, I refuse to swing to that. I'm particularly focusing on engagements on the environment, and professionally, I'm an environmentalist, and I also did environmental law, so you can see I'm in that direction. So as a young person, if you want to know where you're going, you set the priority. Otherwise, all roads will take you there. Over to you. I would like to invite the first presenter, that is none other than the Excellency to be Deon, to address the people. Please let's welcome him with an applause.
Thank you very much. First question, do we use PowerPoint presentations or do we just verbally?
Well, okay, if you can do a PowerPoint and if you submitted prior, if you can do PowerPoint in less than 3 minutes, that's still okay. But otherwise, you're free to. Do we have a PowerPoint? Did they submit? No, so proceed. Let's proceed the way you wish.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, greetings to my fellow panelists, greetings to fellow delegates. I choose to identify as a youth advocating for sustainable development. My name is Deon Shekuza, and in particular I work on the Sustainable Development Goals and also the AU Agenda 2063. In the SDGs, I focus on SDG 13 for climate action and 7 on universal access to clean and sustainable energy. And then on the AU agenda, I'm focused on what they call the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, where we have a youth network which is aiming to revolutionize the African food systems and agricultural dependency from foreign inputs or even produce. At national level, I form part of the Rio Conventions Committee, where in Namibia we have put all the Rio Conventions under one in order to seek joint implementation. And there, under our government, also made space for the young people. I further also, at an international level, form part of the youth constituency to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. There, my job in particular is to ensure the African narrative is strong, it's consistent, and that young people who join the space for the first time have some type of capacity building, some type of guidance and such. Also, we never really got told any TOR on our presentation. We basically just prepared a PowerPoint which I dropped. So if I am to then just go off and start, I would like to believe that this discussion for the youth is focused on just transition, and my initial comments would look into intergenerational equity and how young people can particularly be meaningfully engaged in this process. I think you just wanted some introductions for now. I wouldn't want to go into my comments on my presentation because it was part of the PowerPoint. Unless there's a direct question, I think I'll just...
Okay, do you think you can do that presentation in another 1 minute? If you have it, or that's your turn?
Yeah, basically the presentation was to introduce ourselves, the kind of work we do.
Okay, all right. Let's clap for Deon. Remember, this is a solutions forum for the young people, and we're talking about the just transition. So if we could be focusing on also on the action plans and how we want us to transit and engage the young people, that would be smart enough. But thank you so much. Let me invite the next presenter.
An organization that is found in 44 African countries. And we are glad to be here because we are part of the ASCJ project. ASCJ stands for African Activists for Climate Justice, which is a consortium that consists of PACJA, we all know PACJA, Natural Justice, Femnet, Oxfam, and another organization that is keeping my mind. Anyway, I'll say that one of the things that I have picked from the discussions and things that have been said, and the panel sessions that have been ongoing, we are saying that we need to transition. And there was a very nice question that was posed by Mithika when he was introducing in the opening session. We are transitioning from what? But as a youth, I want to ask, you are transitioning, taking care of who? Because we are the people that you need to employ. So at COP27, we just need to ask a simple question. What can enable us transition? And that is unlocking climate finance for young people initiative. And that's our call. We are not going to ask so much at the COP because we know there are a lot of things that are said and there are a lot of ideologies and agendas that have been put high at the COP. If you look at the agenda of climate finance, it's already being diluted. And we are having a lot of agenda items being introduced, and initially there were just 8. So as young people of Africa, we're just saying, you want to fund climate justice. You want to transition from fossil fuels. But are you taking care of the people that are working there who are the passing generation? And what about the coming generation who are us? Can you finance us as young people to ensure that we have proper enabling environment to ensure that we are not going to go back to working in the coal mines, in the oil sector, and in the other hydrocarbons and other fossil fuels that you are not interested for us to get in? That is my only push. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. He's like, what can enable us to transition? Where are we? What can enable us to transition? And he calls upon us to go make noise and making sure unlocking climate finance is key. Thank you so much. Can I invite Laurel Kivuyo? Laurel Kivuyo, okay. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laurel Kivuyo. I am the current Southern African Climate Change Youth Envoy, representing youth from the southern countries of Africa. And thank you so much for the space, and especially for considering young people to attend, not only to attend as observers, but also as the panelists in this very important conference on climate change. Thank you so much. So we as the young people are not just quiet. We as the young people from the southern part of Africa, we have done several projects on climate. Yeah, we have the theme of Just Transition Africa, but you have to believe us that the young people, let me not say from our southern part of Africa, but in Africa have done every possibility for climate change. They have done several projects on afforestation, on renewable energies. They have done projects on zero plastic. Witnessing from my home country, Tanzania, I am coming from Tanzania. We have a very recent project on the zero plastic, just to advocate people using alternative products, just to abstain from plastic, because we all know plastic is non-biodegradable and we really complain about it in our solid waste management. Yeah. So my call, as we are going for the COP27 that is going to happen in African soil, just not far from what Michael has said. We're just really asking for unlocking the climate finances for the young people, because the young people have so much in mind, they have so much initiatives, they have so much projects that they want to do, but how can we finance ourselves? We're just from taking our bachelor's, our master's, we are right now, maybe some of us have jobs, some of us don't have jobs, but we really do have ideas. So we are really calling for climate finances. We also need to have, what should I say, we really need to have guidance from the people who are above us. And we as the young people, I've been following up most of our discussions. Like, we really have to begin with what we have right now. You know, we don't have to, I don't know, funds are going to come, but let's begin with what we have in hands right now. We say we have minimum resources. Every day we really complain we have minimum resources, but at least whatever we have in hand, whatever we can do, let's do it. We don't have to lose hope. We just have to stand together as the young people from Africa and do every possibility we can do for climate change. Thank you so much. I hope I was flexible with the time.
Yeah, thank you, she's really done very well, and she's given us an experience of Tanzanian young people, Tanzanian, the Southern Africa young people and their engagements, but also she highlighted the Tanzanian experience of zero plastic. She's calling upon unlocking climate financing, especially for young people, and she's saying, okay, build the capacities of the young people to engage. So I think she really did give action point in this presentation. Let us applaud her. I would like now to bring on board Isa Gaba is not here, so I will bring on board Mr. Kakande Michael, Resident 40.
Hello, I'm humbled to be here today. Greetings to my panel, you, and to everyone in attendance. I'm Michael Kakande. I'm the current chairperson of the Resilient 40. It's an Africa-UK partnership towards climate resilience of the African continent. So we are almost 70 young people from 29 African countries, and we do engage policymakers when it comes to anything to do with environmental climate action or resilience. But majorly this year, we've been working around climate migration with the AU. So if some of us have heard about the Africa Climate Mobility Initiative, so we've worked so much around that to emphasize the need for organized migration, given the current climate crisis. So we know that Africa still has porous borders. So some young people are moving, and there's no track record of that. But and it's one of the topics that people are, not paying so much attention to. So we've done work around that, and we'll be launching it at COP27. So those that will be there will be able to take part if you're there. Probably to diverge from what my fellow young people have already shared is I'm so much into policy because I know this is the core of Africa's problems, and reason being is there's so much that goes on, but there's little contribution from the young people. So I'm very glad that whenever there's such meetings, I'll give a very special thank you to the Pan-Africa Climate Justice Alliance. Dr. Mithika, he's always reached out to me or anyone else, are you interested in being part of this? So we want to highlight him for the great work he really amplifies in youth participation, because it's key. We have a notion, there is no Africa without young people. So, and we know the majority of people in Africa are young, so we want to be part of these processes. Even when we know we are highly, I'll give the example of the oncoming, you call it COP, I call it the Conference of Polluters. We are going to go there, and we will tell them we need this, we need that. We take a whole year planning for a conference of polluters just to go and pay money and all these things. So how about we revise ways of doing this? How about you build our capacities as young people? We know you're seated on a lot of knowledge. How about you transfer this to the generation? Because in a few years to come, we are the people going to be in your position. So how about you empower the young people to take on these leadership positions, and we deliver for our good? Because I've been privileged to engage as many African policymakers as you may think of, right from the AU. And one thing I've realized is Africa, we have very beautiful policies, right from national level to AU. Very beautiful policies. Environmental, you look at them, but when you ask them implementation, they all look at you, zero. So how about we fight other things like corruption? We find monies, put them into these implementation things, other than looking to a white man during these scopes. And we've been waiting for 27 years. How sure are we that money is going to come? So these are questions we need to ask ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. I picked something, Conference of Polluters. Okay, so that's on the negative side. But on the positive side, it can also be something good that we are picking from there. And also, but I'm not here to critique but that was interesting, right? Let's clap for Kakande. He shared on some of the things that they do, especially like climate migration with the porous borders that we have, and engagement of policy makers. I remember when we were developing a climate change policy in Uganda, we definitely worked with young people, and Resilient 40 was among those people that we consulted, so and you were very engaging. So thank you very much. Let me now invite on Mr. Khulukani Magwaza, South African Youth Climate Coalition.
Thank you very much. Khulukani Magwaza here from South Africa. Greetings to my fellow panelists and everyone. I'm happy to be here. I work with the South African Youth Climate Change Coalition. It's a network of young environmentalists and climate justice activists. We're based in 9 provinces and 32 cities in South Africa with about 120 members. So when we talking about solutions, there's so many things that we are doing, but 2 of them which I think are more important is that we're trying to transform our society in terms of employment, but we obviously don't employ people because we don't have that capacity. But what we do is that we create opportunities for young people. We give them exposure to practice. Those that are at universities, we are very much based in the University of KwaZulu-Natal and University of Cape Town. So those that are based at universities and young graduates, we take them to the field to have exposure. And those that do not know how to be in the university or at colleges, we bring them into those spaces for dialogues, for researches, and other stuff related to that. And the second thing that we are in discussion of, we actually started discussing this in 2017 with the Ethekwini Municipality, Durban, to be an independent power producer. So we want to have a pilot project to provide electricity for at least 5 families anywhere. And because I'm a theologian by profession, I also work with churches and other religions. So we have approached a few of the churches to have discussion to ask if we can put a solar panel on the top of the roof. And if we can do that, we can provide electricity for the church and 2 neighboring families. So that's what we are trying to do. Obviously, it's very much expensive from us, and we do not have the capacity for that. So we have to do partnerships. but because there is that opportunity in South Africa, so that is the door that we are knocking on, and we're trying to explore that opportunity. And I am hoping that if there are people that can help us do that, they can reach out to us. And we have a tax, so we had a 2020 to 2023 strategy, which is getting exhausted by February next year. Now we're developing a 2023 to 2025 strategy, which will obviously start in March next year. So if there are people that will be reaching out to us, we will be very happy for that, because between that 3 year until 2025, we're hoping that our pilot project to be an independent power producer will be successful. So thank you very much.
Okay, so